Top 5 jewelry to avoid when getting pierced. Basically, jewelry you shouldn't wear in a fresh piercing. Coming up next on Piercing Top 5, episode number 12. For those who are new to the channel, welcome to the Body Piercing and Tattooing channel. We specialize in educational videos about tattooing and body piercing. You may have figured that out already, but you may not know who I am. My name is DaVo. I'm a professional body piercer and have been since 1994. I own and operate the Axiom Body Piercing Studio located right here in Des Moines, Iowa, inside Skin Kitchen Tattoo. So what we're going to talk about today is the type, style, and general jewelry that you do not want to put in a fresh piercing. It's not jewelry you want to pierce with. Most of this should be common sense, but it's really common that people will come in and tell me they were pierced with this or that, or I'll have to remove said jewelry and replace it with something that works better. So here's some things to avoid. Number 5, silver or sterling jewelry. The reason why you don't want to wear this is because it will tarnish, and that can cause issues. Generally, it doesn't hold up well in the body. It's a softer metal. And in areas where there's a mucous membrane, and even some areas where there isn't, as that silver erodes and that silver soil escapes, your body can absorb it, and that can lead to silver poisoning, which is a permanent darkening or tattooing of the area around the piercing. Silver, sterling, I know I've had a lot of people over the years go, I'm allergic to everything but sterling. That is not the case. I do suggest avoiding it, especially in a healing piercing. Number 4, electroplated jewelry. The reason why this is an issue is that electroplating, usually when it does come off, it's like a foil. It comes off like in chunks and cracks and creates all kinds of problems. In a healing piercing, what will happen is these little pieces will then go into the piercing and possibly into your bloodstream and possibly cause problems. It'll also agitate the piercing when the jewelry is shifted or moved, and it can harbor bacteria and other contaminants. So never, ever put anything that is electroplated in a fresh piercing. Now, there are other methods of plating jewelry like PVD that's a little safer, especially if it is with a material that you know is biocompatible. This is not going to flake off the same way that electroplating will. It's going to it will scratch off, but it doesn't flake off. Does that make sense? Number 3, tight jewelry. Every time I see a video on how to by some expert from the ear piercing device manufacturers, they always say one of the advantages of our devices is it puts the jewelry really super tight, which reduces bleeding. Problem with that is it also doesn't create an area for discharge to get out of the piercing, and it tends to lead to a lot of trauma to the piercing, and this kind of perfect storm where the piercing swells beyond the length of the jewelry. It's agitated, so it starts building up inflammation to protect itself, swelling, and it just keeps swelling more and more and more until you get rid of that larger or that shorter piece of jewelry and put something in there that's longer that gives it more room. This could also lead to bumps and all kinds of other issues, including the jewelry being absorbed or impacted into the piercing. So always, when piercing, loose jewelry is best at first. Number 2, heavy jewelry. Now, if you have jewelry on that's really, really super heavy and, just seems like there's a lot of weight there, it's going to move a lot more. It's also going to put a lot of strain on the piercing, which is going to increase the likelihood of issues like trauma and etc. Jewelry should be as light as possible. Titanium, that's one of the reasons why titanium is incredibly good for a fresh piercing. Number 1, the jewelry should be highly polished. This is pretty much the difference between good jewelry and okay jewelry and really great jewelry is the finish. How much time that manufacturer takes polishing that jewelry to make sure that it is mirror smooth and isn't going to cause any issues. This is important in the healing process, because if it isn't, movement can agitate the piercing more likely and cause issues. If it has a really fine, smooth finish, movement is not going to be as drastic or cause as much trauma. Well, that's all I have to say on this subject today. Till next time, here's hoping all your piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, I hope to see you for your body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.